Hi everyone, my name is Daniella and I've been posting workout videos, and I wanted to introduce myself officially. So I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for now the last 6 years, and what's gotten me into fitness has been a very long journey. So I want to just take you through what I have been loving doing lately in my life and how I got here. So let me start off with just the basics. I grew up as a chubby kid. I mean, I was really fun and outgoing, and I grew up with brothers, and we were always a little bit bigger than most kids. I mean, my mom is an amazing cook, and you know, we have a huge appetite for life. And even though I was a chubby kid, I was always doing activities. My dad would put us into baseball. We did taekwondo for many years. I got all the way up to a blue belt before entering high school, and I had to put that aside so that I can focus on my study. Family was really into pushing us to have our education and graduate from high school and go into college. And so I grew up like a normal kid. I ate a little bit more than I probably should have, and I've gained weight. I was very active, like I said. Was teased as a kid in school for being overweight, and I have glasses right now. I have my contacts in, and it did affect me. I started to create a lot of self-image issues with my weight, and I got depressed slowly as a kid. I didn't really realize I had depression until I got diagnosed at age 19. But yeah, I got teased like all of us get teased for either being too tall or too short or a little nerdy. Unfortunately, it did impact me a lot, which made me eat more. So by the time I graduated from high school, I was about 200 pounds. And to give you a reference, I'm only 5'5". So I was really uncomfortable in my skin. I wore a lot of sweatpants and a lot of hoodies to cover up my body, which actually made me look bigger. And I didn't know really what to do. I entered college at age 17. I got accepted to a pre-med program at City College. The best thing about that is that I got to meet 3 women who ended up being my closest friends to this day. And I just got to be in a world where I was in academia, and I dreamed to be a doctor. But within the first year, I realized that I was really stressed with school, and I emotionally ate most of the time. And my friends were really supportive. They never, we never made jokes about my weight or anything like that, but it did fluctuate a lot. And I got to my highest weight, probably around 220 pounds. And I was struggling with my first year of college. I'd failed a couple of core classes and had to go to summer school. To that point, I was just struggling and I needed some help. So I ended up talking to my counselor, who suggested I speak to a therapist. And when I spoke to a therapist for about 6 months, I was diagnosed with depression. Really affect me and the way I ate and I spoke to myself. I had very negative connotations. I would look at my body and be very upset with it, the way it looked, knowing that I was doing it to myself. So after therapy for a few months, I decided to start to lose weight, and I did every fad diet you can. I did the Atkins diet and I lost 15 pounds, and then I started eating bread. I gained it all back. I try to eat only 1,200 calories a day, and then I'd be really hungry, 2-3 days into it, and I would, binge and eat a lot of sweets and carbs. So I did what most people do when they lose weight. They just think if I just reduce my calories and increase my activity, then I'm gonna lose the weight. And in some theory, yes, it's true, but I was going from someone who had depression and still has depression, and just using food as a comfort and not realizing that I wasn't listening how much to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. The whole myth of eating past a certain time at night gets you fat. That's not true. Use my support system of therapy, my family and my close friends, and I started to eventually lose weight very slowly. And I go to the gym, didn't know how to use the gym. I just thought cardio. If I just go on the elliptical for 45 minutes, 4 or 5 days a week, and then not eat a lot and eat a lot of vegetables. And, I eventually did lose some weight, but I was always hungry and I was always depriving myself, and I couldn't find any real sustainable diet. My parents were able to help me, and I moved out for a year to study on my schooling around age 20. And at age 20, because I was living with 2 girls who were my classmates, I got to really see how people eat and how people enjoy life on their own, which, 20 years old, I had no idea. I lived under my parents my whole life. and they didn't, you know, demonize food as I did. You know, if they wanted to have some cake or a cookie with their tea at the end of studying, they did, and they didn't feel guilty about it. So I start to see those behaviors and realize, like, it's okay to indulge when you want to. Even with that being said, I still took drastic measures sometimes to lose weight. And one of the things that I did was, because I was embarrassed of going to the gym because I was, you know, over 200 pounds, what I would do is I'd take my book bag and fill it up with a couple of my heavy books, either it's chemistry or something. I put it on my back and I'd walk for about 3.5 hours, 10 to 12 miles, come back, take a quick shower and take a nap because I was tired and I was hungry. And then when I'd wake up, I would say I could eat something. And looking back, it obviously was very unhealthy for me to do that, but I was just so desperate and trying to find a way to change my overall body and love myself. And I knew that looking at my body every day, I was not happy. I would like to say I've gotten much better, which I have, but I'm still one of those people that when I do feel a little depressed, I do give myself a body check and I see how I'm feeling, and that's not the right way to do it. You know, a lot of people in the fitness industry have said it now, is that what your body looks like is one of the least important things towards you, but it is a first impression, and I do understand that aspect of it. And that's why I started to post workout videos first before I've given you a little bit of a testimony of who I am, because I want you to know that I do enjoy working out. I can work out. I like to move my body, but I'm not the fitness model that you see that has the six-pack and the no cellulite and the no gut. I do. I have all those things. I have a belly, and learning how to treat myself better, and eventually my body is adjusting to the workouts that I've done, and it's taking me a long time to get to this place. And I actually, doing that, walking the 10 to 12 miles for 3 hours, I did that 3 times a week for like 3 months, and I went from 220 to 190, and I was like, yes, I'm underneath the 200s, and I had this huge, literally weight lifting off my shoulders. Like, I can do this on my own. I was in control of myself, and that was one of the first few steps I had to acknowledge, that my weight gain was something that I did to myself. I let myself gain weight, and it was mostly due to my depression, and that's the only way I could feel like I can hide, was by creating this literal bubble away from people. And I was able to really see that it's okay to lose weight, and it's okay to think of yourself as beautiful without any other reason of just the fact that you are. So living on my own for a year, unfortunately I did struggle with med school, and I made the hard decision of dropping out, and I ended up going back home so that I could finish my bachelor's degree in psychology, which I did. And then I decided that I still wanted to do more schooling, to a PhD program for psychology at City College. And it was something that was specific for cognitive neuroscience. So I was fascinated with the brain, and, you know, I was just kind of going from med to psychology. Age 23, I finally moved out of my house, and I got to learn a lot about myself when it comes to food and my depression. And I realized that luckily when I lived at home for a year, even with my mom's good cooking and my depression and always having food available, I was able to have a little bit more self-control and not overeat if I was upset about something with personal issues. I didn't use food as a comfort anymore. I was using more exercise, and I was just being nicer to myself slowly, but still not at the point where I am now. I looked at like shows like The Biggest Loser, didn't lift weights, and I had to really teach myself. So I looked towards workout videos, you know, Jillian Michaels. I had done Tae Bo, I had done anything that was trending, P90X, and I learned how fitness and your body can actually move a lot more. And with fitness, it's actually more of a mental challenge than anything. You look at people who might have a six-pack and you think, wow, they're so strong. But you're strong too, and you can do the moves. And that's why I had to teach myself, is that I can do some moves. Gave me a lot of empowerment, and I decided to just do what I can. I worked out 5 days a week. I was doing research about the brain, and I was living a life where I was like having my own control. I can do some things. I was still going to therapy at this point and learning how to love myself and help with my depression and learning coping mechanisms that are healthy for me. On the 170s when I was 24, and even though I worked out and I was eating healthier, I was still hungry all the time. You know, my attitude was that, you know, I was such a big person before who used to eat a lot more calories. So to slowly change my metabolism was going to take time for my hunger to change. So every time I was hungry, I really tried to reach for healthier snacks, fruits, vegetables, lean protein. But sometimes I was hungry, and I always taught myself, you know, a little bit of pain won't hurt you. So go to bed hungry. And I used to use the scale as a determinant of my happiness, which was not fun. And I was able to break that cycle, you know, in my late 20s of not using the scale. And believe me, it was very difficult, you know, especially when you're working out hard and you are eating less, drinking liters and liters of water, and you just see that scale not move, or worse, go up. You're just like, what am I doing wrong? It was just something that was difficult. I ended up settling for a master's degree in psychology and not finishing my PhD, and realizing that as much as I love research and learning about the brain, it didn't fit my personality trait. In 2013, I lost someone in my life who I love very much, and his death really woke me up to the fact that I wasn't living a life that I wanted to live. Life is really short, and people die, never thought would die, and life has to go on. So I asked myself one night, you know, if I could get paid to do anything in the world, what would I want to do? And the first thing was, I want to eat. And second thing is, I want to work out. And the third thing was, I want to help people. And that drew me to personal training because it had all the boxes I wanted. Maybe not the eating part, but definitely everything else. I got my personal training certificate through ACE, and then I literally went on social media, as we do now, on Facebook. And one of my friends who I went to college was like, yeah, my husband is looking for a trainer. He works for a club. Are you interested? And that was it. And I started working, and I really learned from amazing men. My former boss played baseball, and he was really intelligent about how to train the body. I've never done real strength training, so he taught me. I had other colleagues who were soccer players and Olympic lifters and calisthenic gods who knew everything about the body. So luckily I was able to work with people who were able to teach me. And more importantly, I had clients who trusted me. I want to get fit for summer, or I have some back pain. Can you please help me with that? And it forced me to study every day. It forced me to go home, even though I had my license and I had a job. If a client complained about rotator cuff pain, I used that to drive me forward. And I think that's what really kept me in check with my body and my self-image and my weight loss, is that I wasn't concerned about how I looked, because I knew that I was a brain and I could help my clients. And you know, I did have to break a lot of the stigma of the fact that I'm not as lean as other women trainers who I was working with. But as soon as someone talked to me, they knew that I was very intelligent. I knew what I wanted to do. And that's the most important thing that I've had to learn. Being a trainer, I've done stuff in the last 5 years I never thought I could do. I ran a half marathon, which I always thought I could never do because I was overweight. And I was like, oh, my joints are gonna get messed up. But I did. You know, I did a Tough Mudder with some coworkers, and Krav Maga training, aesthetics. You know, I can finally do a pull-up, and it took a lot of time. And I think that's what I'm trying to use my channel for, is to tell you that it does take a lot of time to reach your goals, but with persistence and hard work, you can do it. And you can't let yourself get derailed with how you look like, or, you know, I've been working so hard, it should have happened by now. And I think that's a word I've learned to eliminate recently in my vocabulary. The word should is a very loaded word for me. It does trigger a lot of my depressive thoughts of I should have been better, I should have looked like this, I should have been a doctor. But I'm not, and that's okay, because what I do every day for myself is to love myself first, to physically move every day, whether it's working out and posting workout videos for you guys, or taking a long walk, being present. A lot of these things are little things, but we take them for granted until they're gone. I had to have knee surgery 3 years ago, and I couldn't walk for 4 months without crutches. And I think for me, you know, the perfect body, you know, without, I like to call it, you know, I have a belly, I call it my cookie pouch. And if I just get rid of that, everything will be perfect. And that's not true. I mean, I've been trying for all my life to get rid of it after I became an overweight teenager. Great, because I can accomplish something, but it's also the journey of getting there. And I'm realizing that it's not exactly that's going to make me happy. It's going to be the mindset I'm in. My channel, what I'm hoping to do is show you through my journey of depression and fitness and mental health, and to tie it all in, just tell you that there's a lot of good research out there. Your persistent work that you're gonna do, working out, drinking a lot of water, being healthier to yourself, talking kindly to yourself, it's gonna have these great ripple effects in your life. I wanna thank you all for, you know, doing the workouts with me, and believe me, I'm pretty sure you've seen me slip and sweaty. I generally love making them for you. I love working out, and I like testing my body. Some days my body wants to work out, some days it does not. And I think we all are aware of that. So definitely be kind to yourself. And I like to follow in fitness is Natasha Ocean, and she is an amazing researcher, and she talks about this all the time. And she is an athlete, in and out, is great because she's reaching people about science and about learning how to eat food and not using these bad terms of cheat meal, or, you know, yeah, you can call it your cheat meal if you know there's no negative connotation for it. But if not, it's just a meal. It's food. It tastes good, you know? Enjoy it. Last remark, always be kind to yourself, love yourself, and I'll see you next time.